It's not easy to talk about suicide, but according to experts, it's more dangerous not to talk about it if a loved one has had suicidal thoughts in the past or suffers from depression. With a statewide stay-at-home order, it's especially important to reach out.
I don't anticipate up front, anyway, a big increase in suicide.
Chief Clinical Officer of Behavioral Health Response, Dr. Bart Andrews, says reports from across the country have indicated the number of suicides is on the rise because we're self-isolating. But that's not the case.
We are not seeing at this point in Missouri, and certainly on my crisis line, an increase in suicide-related calls. If anything, it's down a little bit.
As more people close their doors to the outside world, experts say it's time to open doors virtually to check in on people who need it the most.
You should not be afraid to ask someone if they're thinking about suicide. I know that's incredibly scary, but if you have a loved one or a friend in your life and something in the pit of your stomach is really, sounds wrong to me, they don't sound good, ask them, are you thinking of suicide?
It's okay to ask those questions. Asking them is not going to plant the seed and have someone say yes if the answer really isn't.
Not being able to physically check in on someone who is struggling is challenging, but there are signs to look out for.
Talking about wanting to be dead or feeling as if there's no reason to go on. You may also notice through conversation that they're sleeping all the time or that they're having a change in their mood.
But communication doesn't stop once social distancing ends.
It wouldn't surprise me to see volume spike incredibly when the social distancing effort ends and people got to go back to their normal lives. So this sense that often people don't experience the full emotional impact of something until they're safe.
School at home. It's the new normal with all of the regular subjects. There's social studies and math.
I'm labeling the Missouri border states. I'm using Legos to learn how to add.
Reading.
We're all going to build a snowman biscuit. Everyone can help roll a big snowball. Woof woof.
Art class. And more reading.
I am not a dog. I am a great hunter. I love to hunt dinosaurs.
Natalie Mendez has been a school teacher in Jefferson City for 16 years, and she's also a mom. She says school at home doesn't always mean sitting at the table. Her daughters Eva Rose and Lena are learning from scavenger hunts.
We like to look for objects that are a certain color or shape while we're doing those walks. And sometimes we take pictures of birds or flowers that we're not sure the names of. And then later when we get home, we identify them using the internet.
She says parents now have the opportunity to really spend that quality time with their kids.
We have a chance to have a picnic lunch. That's a great idea. We have a chance to play in the yard, and we can play tag or freeze tag or all the things that we used to do whenever we were kids.
And if you are not sure about being an instant instructor, let your kids take a turn at being the teacher.
Let them be the leaders. Let them pretend to be the teachers. My kids think it's super hilarious when I sit on the carpet and they read to me because it's story time.
Kids can also learn by helping out with the chores. But what's more important is to keep learning fun.
And we have baking soda and vinegar to make a volcano.
Dairy farmers and their suppliers have to figure out how much of their product is really needed. Demand has been unsteady with the school population shifting to a coronavirus stay-at-home population. KRCG 13's Noah Brown this afternoon sat in on a Department of Agriculture conference call. He's here tonight to talk about the response of the Missouri dairy industry to this pandemic.
Yes, Kermit, the state's dairy industry contributes $2 billion to the GDP and employs over 23,000 people in the state. Still, after a large spike and fall in demand, the industry can't quite get an accurate read on what people actually need.
With rapid shifts and drastic changes in demand, the dairy supply chain is struggling to figure out how much milk it actually needs. A sudden buying frenzy after stay-at-home orders were issued caused grocery stores to place limits on how many dairy products customers could take.
We believe the limits were originally put in place with good intentions of protecting the consumers out there, and they were needed at the time.
That, combined with processors having to change their outputs to focus on stores instead of schools and restaurants, has caused a discrepancy between milk that's being produced and what's in stores.
There was never milk shortage within the industry, but there was an immediate spike in demand, and then understanding what that demand was. And
Due to that discrepancy, some dairy farmers have a surplus and nowhere to ship. So instead, they have to dump some of it.
now that things have slowed down and people have changed their buying habits, they're purchasing once a week versus daily. And so the demand chain has changed dramatically over the last 3 weeks.
Milk dumping is happening across the state and is agreed upon by farmers and their buyers. Dairy co-ops are helping reimburse farmers for lost milk, and what is dumped is either going into existing lagoons or, in some cases, is being used as a nitrogen-based fertilizer. In a down market such as the one the dairy industry is facing right now, Wiseman said there is one major way consumers can help.
Buy more milk, other dairy products, cottage cheese, cream cheese, butter. Buy more of it, help us out. We keep the product moving and keep the supply chain rolling.
Wiseman said the Agriculture Department does not have a solid idea of when it thinks the market will return to some state of normalcy, but they do hope that the spike or that the market levels out as more people figure out how to deal effectively with stay-at-home orders. Reporting live in Jefferson City, Noah Brown, KRCG 13.